So we got the Yamaha YFZ450. A few parts came in. We got the brake light. We got the handlebar grips. We got oil filter, oil. Got the headlight bulbs. I think that's all really needed. But first what I want to do is freshen up these plastics. I want to use a heat gun. You know, it's been left outside for a while and the sun pretty much just faded the plastics, you know, all around it. So I'm gonna try using the heat gun on it. If that don't work, I'm gonna try to sand it down while using the heat gun as well. So we're gonna see how good that looks. So as you can see, I did this little area right here on the fender. You know, slowly coming back. He got rid of all that white, pretty much all the stress marks. So I'm gonna do the whole quad, see how good it turns out. So I used the heat gun on half of the four-wheeler so far, and it's turning out pretty good. But with the darker color, the blue, it still shows the imperfections. But it does look a lot better than all that white on the top side. So I did this whole side right here, so you can see did about half of it so far. Here is the other side. So it's turning out pretty good. This is just a cheaper option than buying all new plastics. So I'm sure y'all know how much that is, and I'm trying to save some money here. But I mean, it'll do. So let me get the rest of it done, and I'll show y'all afterwards. So I finally got the plastics all heated up and, you know, looking somewhat decent. I mean, it does look better than all the white that was faded onto the top of the surface. But you can still see some of the heat swirls in the plastics. But I'm going to use a magic eraser, which is somewhat abrasive, and it should bring some of that out. But I'm kind of losing daylight here, so I'm going to move on to the brake light. I got a new one for it. So I got the brake light on. As you can tell, it's a lot better than the stock OEM light. I did have to crimp on the old connector because for some reason, I don't know if it's because of the year or what, but the brake light had a male side and the harness had a male side too. So I just kind of crimped the old female side from the old brake light onto the wiring. So I'm gonna wrap this all up in electrical tape, and that should be good to go. I was actually able to bolt this one on instead of zip tying it, so it's a lot more sturdy. Next up, I want to do the headlight. This bulb was out. I can already see it from here. The filaments are broken inside, so let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, as you can see, filament's broken off. It's just sitting on the side right there. So I've got a new bulb to go in. Old one, then new one. So same for the left side. Filament's broken. The low beam didn't work, so going up the new one. So we got both new headlights. As you saw, the filaments are broken. The first one, both of them were broken. Second one filament was broken, so just went ahead and replaced both. Next, I want to do the handlebars, because this electrical tape's not going to cut it. All right, let's do it. New grips, looking good. That's pretty much all I've needed to do to it, cosmetic wise. Well, let's put this back together. Let's see. So what I found out was so when I got the quad, the guy said that the neutral light didn't work. So when I was trying to figure out how to turn it back on, I was looking at the bulbs, the wiring that goes to the neutral switch right here. So it would blink when you're cranking the quad, but when the quad's on, the light would just stay off. So what I found out was these two bulbs were actually switched. So this is the overheating light. So the neutral light was in the overheating light, and the overheating light was in the neutral light. So what's happening was, whenever you crank it, the overheating light is supposed to blink and then turn off when the quad's on, and that's what the neutral light was doing. So I ended up swapping these two out, and now the light turns on with the neutral. So let me put it back in and I'll show you. So I actually had to tighten up the clamp right here too. So now, whenever I flip the switch, I got neutral. I just gotta get a new bulb for the overheating light, which I will definitely get. So yeah, that was one of the problems as well. I got the plastics taken off because I had to get off a broken bolt that was inside the frame that holds the plastics together. So I'm gonna put it all back together and then on to the next thing. So I'm gonna change the oil next. Oil drain on the motor is that drain plug right there. And there's also a drain plug on the bottom of the external tank. Next we got the oil filter, a couple 8 mils, and a 5 Allen. So the oil filter out. A little metallic-y, but not too much. I don't see big chunks. There's no big chunks in the filter. So we're gonna change the oil and see how it looks. New filter. We're gonna go ahead and oil up both sides of the seals right here and slap her back in. So we got 2 quarts going in, 10W40 wet clutch oil. So we're doing 1 quart in the external tank and then 1 quart in the crankcase. So we got 2 quarts in there. I want to do the air filter. I already got it off. I already cleaned it up. I just got to put it back on. Got the filter. You know, I oiled it up. Let's go ahead and stick it on. Almost forgot, I do also gotta bleed the brakes. Try to get these back brakes to engage. So I finally got the brakes bled. So I was trying to bleed it and it just would not bleed. The brakes would not engage. So what I did was, the fluid looked pretty dirty, so I was thinking the lines were clogged. So I took off this bolt right here and I pumped all the old fluid out, filled the reservoir back up with new fluid, and I started bleeding the system again. And now now the brakes work. So check this out. So brakes work, new fluid. Let me check out the coolant real fast. So I already filled the radiator up, but that was it was a little low. I kind of just used this kind of method right here because the way the radiator is, the plastics are kind of in the way. Same with this, same with the reservoir. I'm just gonna feed it through here. Alright, she's full now. Right to the full mark. That works like a charm. Save you some time of taking the reservoir off. So. Okay. So got the battery hooked up to a charger, so let's see if it starts now. Alright, so I was trying to start it all yesterday. The battery kept dying. So I had the battery on the charger overnight. I also just want to see if I know the gas got low. So I'm just going to see if the carb's getting gas. Hopefully it still got spark too, but it did want to start. It just kept wanting to die. I adjusted the throttle cable a little bit, so let's see what happens. Let me see if it's got gas to the carburetor. Go ahead and turn it on. Yeah, so the carburetor wasn't getting gas. I'm sure it's because it's too low and it's not getting to the petcock. But let me put some in there. You can see it's already leaking. Just put that back on. Okay. Gas is on. Let's see if we can get it cranked over. Might have to adjust the idle. Kept wanting to die, but we'll see. Maybe it's just got to get warmed up. It's been a little bit since it started, so I really need to buy a tripod and possibly a mic, because this phone audio is not the best. I'm just doing what I got for now, so I'm just gonna make it work. So. Pull the choke. So she does run pretty good. Starts up super easy. The rear brakes do work. This quad's pretty much fixed. So I did the grips. I did the headlight bulbs. I heat gunned the plastics. Put a new brake light on it. What else? I pretty much did a brake fluid flush on the rear. The brakes were not engaging. The line was clogged, so I ended up bleeding that out. And now the rear brakes work. Topped off the coolant, did an oil change. She's ready to go. So picked this thing up for 1,700 bucks. He had it originally posted at 2,500, but I was just knick-knacking about all the small things that were wrong with it. The stuff that I could fix. I know that's not gonna be too expensive at all, but I was just docking him down. He kept going down, so I was like, hey, let me just see how far I can take it. So I ended up getting him down to 1,700 bucks. These quads in my area run for around 3,500 to 4 grand, kind of in between there. Maybe a little lower depending on the year. So this one is a 2005, I believe. You can tell by the swing arm too. So there's the bin. 10 digits to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2004. 2004 model. So we're ready to go. Let me just adjust the clutch cable here. You can adjust it right here. Just unbuckle this nut right here. I was kind of playing with that because I was thinking that it was going to be the throttle cable, but it wasn't. So